Imagine if there was a way to beat Minecraft with strategies that weren't meant to be implemented into the game. Then what kind of times would we see in Minecraft speedrunning? Well, on the category set seed glitchless, we've seen super fast times, on Bedrock sub 3 speedruns, and on Java even sub 2. But believe it or not, there is actually a specific category made for using glitches that weren't intended on being in the game. What I am talking about is any percent speedruns. You've probably heard of any percent glitchless when you submit or look at a Minecraft speedrun. This basically means running Minecraft without any glitches whatsoever, whereas any percent means you can use glitches to make your way through the game possibly faster. In Java, this category isn't used that often since just regular SSG you can get fast enough times anyway. Whereas on Bedrock Edition, playing any percent can allow you to get sub 2 Minecraft speedruns. And in today's video, I'm going to be explaining how the PC and the mobile world record for any percent were both destroyed. Before I get into the two runs, I'm going to be giving you a quick breakdown on how any percent speedruns work on Bedrock Edition. And because the runs that I'm going to be explaining are done on a set seed, I'll be explaining how that route works. You first type in the seed 2730-26290. This seed will load you in a plains biome with a nearby village. You can then run to the nearby village where you will see a blacksmith. From this blacksmith, depending if you're playing on a PC or a mobile device, you can get things like obsidian and enough iron to craft your tools. Either before or after you loot the blacksmith chest, you want to get 1 to 2 pieces of logs so you can get enough wood to craft your tools. Then you can use those logs so you can craft your tools. If you're playing on a PC, you might need to get some stone to craft the rest of your tools as well. Then you want to find the very specific spot that you dig down in to enter into the stronghold. Once you memorize this spot, it becomes very easy since all you need to do is dig down through some dirt, some stone, and some gravel until you hit the stronghold. Once you hit the stronghold, depending on what platform you're playing on, you might need to navigate around the stronghold and find some loot. On PC, you can navigate around and find things like redstone so you can duplicate your items, some ender pearls, and some more iron. Whereas on mobile, the only thing you need to do is get an ender pearl since you get enough obsidian to build a portal from the blacksmith. Once you collect your items, you can build your nether portal and enter into the nether. On PC, you have to find the portal room and then dig down in a spot to find some water. Then you can use your water and the lava you find in the stronghold to build your portal and then enter the nether. Whereas on mobile, it's much simpler, since as I said before, you get 10 pieces of obsidian from the blacksmith. So all you need to do is build your portal and then you can enter the nether. Before or after you enter the nether, you want to duplicate your ender pearls so you can have enough to throw to and back from the nether fortress. Once you have enough pearls duplicated, you want to throw a pearl up to the fortress and hope you have a stray blaze nearby. Then if you do, you want to kill that blaze and again hope for a blaze rod. Since you can duplicate the eyes of an ender, you only need 1 blaze rod. And if you're lucky enough, you might just manage to get a blaze rod from that blaze. If you do, you can throw a pearl back to the portal and then exit the nether. Then you want to craft your blaze rod into blaze powder and then craft your blaze powder and ender pearl into eyes of ender. Then you want to duplicate your items. On mobile, the setup is a little easier, whereas on PC, the setup takes a little while to do. Once you finish duplicating your eyes of ender, all you need to do is fill in the end portal and then kill the dragon, right? No, believe it or not, that's not actually what you have to do. That's right, you don't even need to kill the ender dragon. All you need to do is place a bucket of water in their end portal frame and it should be able to give you an ender portal. Then all you need to do is enter the end and then place that ender portal down and go through it and then you'll finish the game. This cuts out all the time that it takes to kill the ender dragon. But if you somehow could get beds to kill the ender dragon on this seed, this could still possibly be faster faster than the SSG world record. But we don't need to worry about that because you don't even need to kill the Ender Dragon on this seed. Now that I've broken down how you run the any percent category on a set seed, let's get into GucciGangLilAku's SS speedrun in 1 minute and 58 seconds. Gucci spawns into the world and travels straight to the village. As he arrives at the blacksmith, he decides to get 2 logs so he can craft enough tools. He then loots the chest where he gets a pickaxe and enough iron to craft a few tools. He then uses the iron pickaxe to get a few pieces of stone so he can craft an axe, then uses the other piece of iron for a shovel. He then travels out of the blacksmith and finds the dig down point and digs down into the stronghold. He navigates around the stronghold, getting things like redstone, ender pearls, and more iron. The reason for things like redstone is so he can use it to duplicate his items. The way you duplicate on PC is by using pistons to push around the chest, which duplicates the items if you do it right. This allows you to get a ton of items super fast, but unfortunately it doesn't work anymore since this was done on older versions. With the iron that he obtained in another chest of the stronghold, he uses that to craft a bucket and then travels to the portal room. Once he arrives, he can dig down at the corner of the portal room and find a source of water. After he collects it, he can then build back up and place it against the wall. He can then use the lava that you find in the portal room to turn it into obsidian so he can enter the nether. But you don't do what you do on set seed glitchless, because if you place a piece of lava on the water source, then it gets rid of the water source, and you don't want to do that because then you can't get the end portal block. So you want to pick up the water again and place it on the block next to it, so you can place a lava block and still manage to get the obsidian from it. After Gucci does this, he picks back up the water and places it somewhere else, then lights his nether portal with the flint and steel he crafted and enters the nether. Once he enters the nether, he sets up a duplication spot so he can duplicate some ender pearls to throw up to the fortress. Once he does this, he arrives at the fortress and sees that he already has a stray blaze nearby. From this blaze, he manages to get a blaze rod and then can immediately pearl back to his portal. But instead of going back through the portal, he decides to craft his Eyes of Ender and then start duplicating them. He spends about 15 seconds duplicating his Eyes of Ender until he has enough, and then he travels back through to the overworld. All he needs to do now is fill in the Eyes of Ender in the end portal frames and then collect his end portal block. Then he enters the end, places his end portal block, and finishes the game in 1 minute and 58 seconds. You might be thinking that this is insanely fast, which it is, but the run from SprinkzMC that I'm about to show you absolutely shatters that time. So let's get into it. Sprinks loads into the same seed and then travels to the nearby village where from the blacksmith he only gets 1 log. He then breaks a window into the blacksmith and collects all the loot from it. This features things like obsidian to build the nether portal, gold for the tools, and iron for a flint and steel and bucket. But he doesn't get that much gold, so he already needs to do some duplicating. He doesn't need to do any crazy setup, he just needs to use his inventory to duplicate the gold. Once he duplicates enough, he crafts all that he needs almost instantly, since he's that experienced with this category. He then grabs out his bucket and collects some water from the nearby farm, and then travels down to the dig down spot. It takes a little bit longer to dig down since mobile gameplay is a little bit slower, since you can't do things like scroll through your hotbar, so you can swap between things like shovels and pickaxes. But he perseveres through it and digs into a stronghold, and then travels to a nearby chest where he gets an ender pearl from it. He then navigates down to a stairway where he builds his portal and then starts doing some duplicating with some ender pearls. Once he has duplicated enough ender pearls, he lights his nether portal and enters the nether. When he enters, he throws his pearl up to the fortress and then gets an instant blaze with an instant blaze rod. He then throws his pearl back down to the portal and then exits the nether within 15 seconds of entering. Then he enters back through to the overworld and crafts his Eyes of Ender and starts doing a bit of duplicating with them. Once he has enough Eyes of Ender, he travels down the stairway into the portal room, filling in the end portal frames, grabbing the end portal, and then going through to the end. Then he places places the end portal, goes through it, and finishes the game in a whopping 1 minute and 33 seconds. Mobile controls may be a little bit harder to use since you don't have things like scrolling through hotbars, but this is absolutely showing how fast mobile speedruns can be. If you were thinking that Gucci's world record was crazy, well, this one just steps it to the next level. Congratulations to GucciGangLilAku on his 158 world record and SprinkzMC on his 133 world record. If you haven't checked them out already, I'll leave their links in the description, as I really think you should go check out their channels. And if you enjoyed my analysis enough, consider subscribing to me as well, as I'm trying to hit 500 subscribers by the end of the month, so I can hit 1,000 by the end of the year, and I really would appreciate if we could do that. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope I see you in the next video. Goodbye everyone.